Hmm. It seems that I am live. I'm trying something out for the first time here in YouTube. If there's anyone listening, it's okay. There's no announcement to this one because I'm just trying it out, and I don't know if this is something I'd like to do moving forward for the channel. Um, So if you guys don't know who I am, my name is John Kalam from KHL Motorsport Kuhol Garage, and this is a test stream. So of what is supposed to be the Contact Patch podcast, and our tagline is "Where the rubber meets the road." We have done 10 episodes pre-recorded, and I don't know if something live would be something interesting for you guys. I'll make it short because this is just a test stream. But I have to be very careful since this is live and I don't know what I'm going to say. A lot of things gonna say. Usually when I record, there's a lot of stuff I cut because certain things I say may get me into trouble. So hopefully, I don't get into trouble with this test stream, and I hope it's something that is interesting. Because I recently found an article uh, while just browsing on my cell phone in the Inquirer regarding, well, the headline is in the Inquirer. This is article today, June 13. Pimentel calls for NLEX toll hike freeze. Fix EDSA-like problem first. This was written by Myla Agur, reporter for the Inquirer, Philippine Daily Inquirer. So I'll read the article and I'll tell you why certain things I do not agree upon certain positions stated in the article. So, Senate Minority Leader Aquilino Coco Pimentel III wants the EDSA-like traffic on the North Luzon Express or NLEX fixed first before burdening motorists with any toll rate increase. Starting Thursday, June 15, an additional 7 to 98 pesos depending on the type of vehicle. Wait, where you go? Depending on the type of vehicle and distance, will be imposed on motorists plying the NLEX. The Toll Regulatory Board or TRB recently approved the temporary increase. But according to Senator Pimentel, the TRB and the NLEX Corporation should put this provisional toll hike on hold in light of the, quote, worsening traffic conditions on the expressway and the burden of inflation faced by the Filipino people. On behalf of the hundreds of thousands of motorists plying the North Luzon Expressway, I appeal I appeal for some considerations and reprieve on the proposed increased toll rates, end quote. He said on a statement on Tuesday. Implementing a toll increase when Filipinos are already grappling with the effects of inflation would, uh, quote, exacerbate their economic hardships, the senator also said. Uh, any increase at this point would be unjustifiable and unfair to the motorists who have to deal with sometimes EDSA-like traffic on the expressway, specifically from Balintawak to May Kawayan, Pimentel said. Bago sila humingi ng dagdag na bayad, ayusin muna nila traffic sa NLEX. I call on the management of NLEX to address this perennial traffic buildup on our major expressway, he stressed. At least 280,000 vehicles are flying through the major expressway daily, the senator noted, citing NLEX's data. Pimentel then called the TRB to prioritize the interests of the public and ensure that the toll rates remain fair and reasonable. To approve a provisional increase in light to approve a provisional increase in light of these serious traffic concerns and the worsening inflation in the country is a disservice to the Filipino people, he said. It is time that the government provides some relief to our motorists, the senator added. All right. Can you guys tell me what is wrong with this statement, with this article, with the positions that are good and most really our good senator has made some points. I disagree with them in light of my background in I well, my undergrad. I was an economics undergraduate, and my thesis topic was in with relation to what you call this. Actually, it wasn't related to induced demands. More of actually, it has nothing to do with my thesis, but my thesis had something to do with cars for obvious reasons. This is why it's hard to do this live because things are going in my mind all the time. It's not really what you call this. How I think is I try to make it linear, but certain things pop up in my mind and I want to say it also. But anyway, going back, I there are certain points of our kind senator and good senator I do not agree with. Okay, based on this article, of course, I haven't read his actual statement. Read released to to the media is the primary source of this article. I haven't gotten what you call this one. I don't have access to that one. So basically, the NLEX has increased traffic. I mean, has increased tolls, right? And we'll get to later why they had to increase um, the toll fees. Because there's another article I'm going to read that rebuts the senator, so I don't really have to rebut the kind senator. And I'll make this quick also. I don't want to talk too long. Uh, see, he say according to Pimentel, um, the provisional toll hike should be put on hold in light of the worsening traffic conditions on the expressway and the burden of inflation faced by the Filipino people. All right, burden of inflation. We'll get to that. Worsening traffic conditions on the expressway is the thing that I want to uh, point out. If everyone, I don't know if anyone who will be watching this one will be having a basic idea of the law of supply and demand. But when you increase the price of an item, the demand for the item usually goes down. That's basic. The basic thing, one of the basic things you learn about the law of supply and demand. You increase the price, you lessen the usage of that product or the sales of that product, and so automatically congestion will go down because less people will use the NLEX. However, the senator may have a point that because there might be what you call this one, um, demand might not be. eh, there's a term that for that in economics is that if I just don't know exact words because again this is live. I haven't really done super research, but sometimes them people are what you call this one inelastic. That's the word. Sometimes the goods and the demand for this one and even the price. Sometimes people are just price takers. The demand is inelastic, so even though the price increase, they will still ply the roads. But remember, the NLEX is not the only road going up north. There's also the national highways and the local highways, local roadways that other people can go to. There are alternatives to the NLEX, right, going up north. I'm not a heavy NLEX user. I'm usually based in the south, so I usually use SLEX most often. So, um, there are alternatives. The question is how inelastic is the demand for the usage of NLEX. There are people who would not care. Maybe the additional 9 peso to 87 peso or whatever it is. How much is it? 98 pesos, from 7 pesos to 98 peso increase. It might not be a big deal for them. It might be inelastic, but for those who are value conscious, they may reevaluate the use of the expressway and you just fly on the national highways. Okay. However, if the kind senator really wants to uh, reduce congestion, then make NLEX more what you call this less cheap for people to pass through by increasing the tolls. That is the concept of congestion pricing also in the cities like Singapore and London, right? So at certain times of the day, they charge you for going through those roads. And they have proven over the years that that really makes a big deal when it comes to traffic congestion. But traffic congestion is not necessarily bad in itself as well. It's because that is also the proof that there is economic activity going on, that people are going to and fro wherever, whether for business or for leisure or for pleasure or for fun or for work. So basically increasing the cost of something will probably lessen the useless uses of such a good. All right. So perhaps maybe the kind senator should just support this one. And it's really easy to be having a populist stance because that's probably very popular towards the voters. I am not a politician, and my priorities are not necessarily the same things as politicians, those that serve us also, that we have voted into higher office to best serve us. I think it's also in their best interest to appeal to the majority, even though economically it doesn't make sense with some of the things that they're saying. So I don't know. It is just my opinion. I hope I don't get shot for saying my opinion. Um, and yet, there's also another article that rebuts the kind senator, and it's not anyone but another government agency, also Department of Finance. All right. Here's another article written in Business World, June 11, 2023. Uh, the title is DOF says credibility of PPP program hurt by toll inaction. Inaction on toll right applications by NLEX has served to erode confidence in the ability of companies participating in public-private partnerships or PPPs to enforce the terms of their contracts, the Department of Finance said on Sunday. It said toll height applications by NLEX have not been acted on by previous governments, with some applications dating back to 2010, the DOF said. The NLEX rate increases for staggered implementation, not a one-time implementation. It's staggered over several years, Finance Secretary Benjamin Diokno said. The increase piled up because of the inaction of previous administrations. The Marcos administration has had to act on petitions from 2010, he added. On Saturday, the TRB, or the Toll Regulatory Board, approved a toll rate adjustment on NLEX, which we mentioned, add 7 pesos to the rate for the open system and 36 centavos per kilometer for the closed system. The new rates are part of the authorized NLEX periodic adjustments due in 2012, 2014, 2018, and 2020. The rates will cover the last tranche of the 2012 and 2014 and half of 2018 and 2020 periodic adjustments. Okay, Rene Santiago, public transport expert, said that the approval of rate increases bodes well for future PPPs. It is a good sign for future PPPs when our regulatory agencies respect terms of the concession agreement. I hope the TRB will accelerate unified toll cards between AutoSweep and Easy Trip. So, okay, this is something related. The petitions were carefully studied and analyzed. They were approved objectively and fairly. The government needs to perform its contractual obligations under the Supplemental Toll Operation Agreement, Mr. Diokno said. We are promoting PPPs and the government will have no credibility as a partner if it does not comply with its contractual obligations under past PPP contracts, he added. Under the new toll fee matrix, motorists traveling anywhere within the open system will pay an additional 7. Eh, eh, we've mentioned that already. Anyway, so basically, the government agency called the Department of Finance has rebutted the other part, the other leg of government, which is the legislative branch, by one of our senators. So really, I guess I leave it up to you guys if who do you side with, the populist stance of the senator that cares for his constituents by he does not want them to spend too much, or the other side of government who's most interested to have businesses invest more in the country so that people will have more jobs and whatever. So pick a side, I guess, on what you guys prefer. Basically, um, the government is made by the people who vote the people in power to office. So it is in all our vested interest to really make sure that we are able to vote for the right person who would really serve our interest, even though maybe sometimes it is against or not liked by a lot, but it would be good for the country, even though it may be an unpopular stance. So who really among our politicians are the real statesmen? I don't know. I'm not a political scientist. I'm not a politician. I'm far removed from politics, so I don't know. It's beyond my wheelhouse. But when it comes to a little bit of economics, basic economics, law of supply and demand, we can debate on the elasticity of demand for expressways. But if you're gonna tell me that just let's go basic supply and demand, you increase the price of a good, the less of the good will be purchased. So you increase the toll, the less the people will go to the toll, to the tollway, right? Isn't that just basic economics? And that will serve the purpose of our kind senator to reduce the traffic congestion. And again, traffic congestion is not necessarily bad. If you really want to solve traffic congestion, well, it's not building new roads is also not the complete solution, because there's a concept of induced demand. It's basically improving uh, and giving alternative transport options for people of all classes, trains, buses, planes, cars. Having roads, having expressways is only part of the total mobility solution that the country needs, and usually has in its arsenal of its constituents, its people traveling around its borders, right? So let's just focus on Luzon. Let's not worry about inter-island transport because I don't know anything about boats. But even within Luzon, creating expressways is good. I'm a car guy. Expressways are good. I love it if they're gonna make new expressways, especially if it reaches my home province of Bicol. Okay, if it reaches also the President Marcos's province in Ilocos, I think that's what they're going to push for. That's great, and that's good for the Ilocanos. Okay, and that's good for me also. More roads, more high speed expressways, more safer travel, more safer high speed travel is always good for the avid motorist. Okay, so let's support that, but let's not forget about trains. But again, the government is doing up our trains now. We're gonna have PNR. We're gonna have new light rail metro rails in Metro Manila, and other such big investments. I don't know what's happening in Mindanao, if the railway in Mindanao is going to be active, but I have confidence. Whoever's in power, I have the confidence that our Philippine government is really there to serve the Filipino. And as a Filipino, I have to give trust to, number one, those who are in power, and number two, those who chose public service, not necessarily not necessarily the politicians alone, but also uh, our civil service people, guys in the public sector, working as employees in the various departments and bureaus and the agencies of the Philippine government. Okay, so uh, those serving in the public sector, you guys are heroes as well. Not only the politicians, but also those guys who are serving, those in the LGUs, those in the various government agencies. In Tagalog, in Filipino, saludo ako sa inyo. So, I have faith in that one, and even though we are slow and we have gone through a lot of rigmarole, and there's a lot of politics that negatively impact certain badly needed infrastructure projects. There's a lot of politics that in Tagalog, inaharang yung mga proyekto ng gobyerno dahil sa politika and vested interest, mga interest ng mga minority. Okay, so I still have faith that the government is there to serve its constituents. Okay, I think I talk too much, and I hope I don't get into trouble because this is unedited. I don't know who will watch this afterward, but let's see how this goes. If you guys are watching, please do let me know how best I can improve. I apologize for my background because this is my place. This is my room where I sleep. So, if you guys have any things to share, things to improve about this topic, things for us to learn about, please don't hesitate to comment. Hey, that's it. I have talked very long, 22 minutes. I thought I could do it in 10 to 15, but 22 minutes is long. That this is why when we do the podcast, it's edited. In the inspiration for that one is how they do it with Armchair Expert. They edit it, so when you listen to it, it's really polished. Doing it live, absolutely live, there is a thrill to it as the podcaster or whatever. But I think it's a nicer result if things are edited. So I don't know. I also will be watching this one and see how this is. But if you guys have any comments, do let me know. But that is the test live stream episode of the Contact Patch podcast. Where the rubber meets the road. Again, my name is John Kalam. If you guys like this one, please do not forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and also please continue to watch our videos. Anyway, this is just a test. Let's see how this goes. Thank you so much for uh, watching. And anyway, have a nice evening. It's evening in Manila. Have a nice morning if you're elsewhere. Uh, that's it. That's it. It's almost 25 minutes. I'll stop now. Ciao, guys. See you.